Rough night. Convulsing all right.
She raised us. My grandma would be the one who would take care of me and my sister and make our food, take us to school, braid our hair.
He had called me Saturday in a panic, and I talked to him for like 15 seconds, and he could barely breathe.
She's devoted her life to the kids. The doctor told us that she was very sick and she was on life support.
It's like a plague because we don't know what it is. And it's passing from person to person and house to house.
He does what everybody does every day in America. He gets on a train, he goes to work.
His last words to me was, "I love you, Cheryl." The congregation, they're so heartbroken.
We got a date with Destiny. We're going up to heaven.
It's about as heartbreaking as it gets. I mean, just because of how young he was, the family that he had.
Several days after the current assistant girls coach, Dave Edwards, died from the same virus.
I would always stroke down her nose from her forehead. So even when she was sedated, she knew I was there. And it happened so fast.
He worked for Verizon and he was a field worker. This is serious. I don't know why people think that this is a joke or if it's fake.
I said, babe, don't be scared, don't be scared, you got this, you're gonna fight this. And he just said, Mel, I never knew love like this before.
She was so strong and tough, and she could fight through anything. I just want to say I love you, Ma, and I always will love you.
Those that have died in April are stacked on top of the ones that have died in March.
Five generations of a family business. People don't last that long. I promised him that morning that I would, no matter how hard it was, I would go back and try and make it work. When he promised me he would be there with me, he would be there with me to help me.
We are at Mount Sinai.
John was released after more than 3 weeks in the hospital.
How are you?
We put the mother on the ventilator in the OR when they want to start the C-section. She just asked the promise to try to save her baby.
I just got extremely lucky. They could see that the progression had stopped.
I'm still shocked that I made it through.
This here is the lung. It's Carla's lung for 7 days. It is an artificial machine that replaces the function of her lung.
My mom was born in 1918. She was born on a ship coming from Italy during the Spanish flu. My mother is a survivor. She is not human. She has superhuman DNA. My mother was not expendable. My mother is not a data statistic. My mother was loved.
We definitely have more COVID residents than they were telling us.
One ember finds its way in, and then it is fired through dry grass.
They're lying about how many people passed away. They're not giving correct numbers.
Are we talking with the hospital deaths, 8,000, 10,000, 15,000?
This is the cheap stuff, and we had to treat people that are contaminated.
I was the only one whose funeral director's license was suspended. Nothing was done down here out of greed. Nothing was done out of deceit. Things just simply got out of hand.
What we knew in March and February
is a lot different than what we know now.
The main thing that we've learned since the very beginning was that this is not primarily a respiratory disease. It's more or less a vascular disease.
We're still trying to figure out how to get the inflammation in my lungs down. My inflammatory markers are off the roof.
There was a couple of nights where I wasn't sure I'd make it through it. I feel like I dodged the bullet on not going on a ventilator.
Mom, he's here.
I was so filled with emotion when the ambulance pulled up. I hadn't touched another human being other than a nurse in a hazmat suit. That was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen.